Yeah.
See, I don't get tired. I
don't get tired either.
It's pretty good.
It starts cranking.
I think of like some, like I thought of like canvas I didn't show you last night. I was thinking of some creative shit.
Were you?
Yeah, but then I crashed on it when I did that.
That's crazy.
I wrote it all down though, so I didn't forget.
There you go.
I usually don't write shit down, I'll forget. I'm like, fuck.
You gotta write some stuff down. It's like dreams and different things.
While he was
we start off, you know what I'm saying? It's more relaxed. It's the Built Different Podcast, Ep.2. I have my good friend Spencer Rubeck here. It is recording, just so you know. I pressed the button. We got him. I mean, I met you because I know the story. I mean, this is pretty wild.
Take me back to it.
We the mutual friend. We have T. Shaw.
Oh.
So shout out to Tyler Shaw. I was at 500.
How every story starts, though.
How every story starts. You know, T. Shaw, who pops up in random places. I saw him in Cleveland once at a Travis Scott concert, but different. That's a different story. We were T. Shaw. I walked up to him at 500, and you were just chilling on the edge. You know what I'm saying? And we got in a conversation. I was definitely tipsy. I have no idea how to start talking.
Yeah, that's right.
And it was pre-COVID, and I was like, I want a GTR, and you were like, I'm going to get a GTR. And I was like, word, what type of GTR? It's like the track version. I was like, all right. And, you know, people talk, and, you know, you're like, I don't know this dude. Mm-hmm. Like, why do I believe he's going to get the GTR? But for some reason, I did believe you were going to get the GTR. And then, lo and behold, probably a year and a half later, you got the GTR.
Well, thank you for believing me, bro.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. Hey,
Hey,
thank you for believing me,
no problem.
Appreciate that.
I was like,
one step at a time, yeah.
Not only did he get the GTR, he got the track version, he got it in white, and then wrapped it. And then to my sadness, just sold it. But I mean, it's a businessman mindset because you got another car.
It ain't sold. It's still in the garage.
I thought it was sold.
No, I'm taking it to the track in the spring.
Oh,
the GTR's in the garage.
I'm confused. I thought GTR was sold.
Oh no, that can't go anywhere.
All right, well, wonderful then.
Yeah,
I was like, that's not necessary to do that. And it's still my dream car.
Nah, dude.
You know what I'm saying?
No, that's all we work for. You know, you got to keep that.
That's what I'm saying. And it's a lot of money too.
Yeah.
But I'm super excited for this interview because I've actually learned a lot from this man in the time that I've known you.
Likewise.
And it's just been a joy, and you know, connections, networking is key for anyone who doesn't believe that. I know everyone should believe it, but networking is key. No matter how you meet people, you never know what you can learn from them. So keeping that connection is super important. So I know you know a lot about sales, you know a lot about business, you know a lot about personal life.
I like to think so.
Yeah. I mean, I know so. Truly built different in that aspect. So first off, we're in the range marketing office, 50 Lakefront Boulevard. If you were to describe, I guess, in a concise way, what is range marketing?
Range marketing, I guess, in a concise way, is a collaboration of people and technology with the synergistic purpose of helping others. Okay. And that's probably the best way to put it. It's a collaboration of both humans, data, and science, which create value machines that we then use with our clients. We're a value machine center. It's a vague term, but that's the feeling you get. You know, and a feeling is a lot of what business is, right? It's an experience. You go to Amazon, you get a feeling, the easy use. Wow, that was great. Just got my Christmas shopping done in 5 minutes. It's the feeling, you know?
Okay.
So that's what it is. I hope it feels that way here.
It does feel that way here.
Good.
That's a crazy word, value machine. Because, I mean, I know you guys do SEO, but the value is that you're bringing them to the forefront of people's minds.
Right.
So, I mean, it is a machine, and it's an algorithm as well.
Right, and we create machines to make the machine better, right? We got value machines, scientific, that are driven by data and science. That these 7 value machines are what represent our success in your experience, right? So it's an interpretation and iteration of value machines that takes us away from our competitors, you know, from the pack, and puts our clients where they need to be.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's super interesting to me.
Right?
Obviously,
It's a different term, but you know, it's one of those things. Again, it's always a feeling. Business is a feeling.
Yeah. And it's a great way to portray it to the clients too, or potential clients.
Yeah.
Besides just saying we do SEO, create value machines.
Right.
That's a way different term, way different feeling than saying, yeah, we can search engine optimization. We'll get you on, you know, we'll rank in Google, but
it's like saying if you ask somebody what they do and they do a sport, and it's like, you know, they say I play baseball, versus you ask somebody that, and they give you the same answer but differently. I don't play baseball. I get up at 5 a.m. I practice. I work out, right? The feeling behind what it means to be a baseball player, right? That's what they're actually doing. So it's perspective, it's practice, all those things together.
Yeah. That's wonderful, actually. And it's funny you said baseball. We have another mutual friend who grew up with you, and I didn't know you knew him until last week. It's Chino.
Oh, wow.
Chino Barrios.
Wow.
You said
Chino.
baseball. I spoke to Chino last week. He said he played football with you.
Yep.
In high school.
Yep.
I didn't know you played football
Chino
in high
and I go
school.
way back.
Yeah, that's what he said.
Oh,
I didn't know that, no. And
Chino was one of the most athletic. Yeah, shout out to Chino. He was
Yeah.
one of the most athletic dudes I've ever seen on the field, man.
Really?
Oh, yeah. He was talented.
I mean, he's still athletic.
Still is talented, right?
And very talented with the camera. Oof. So he's been doing his thing. He said he grew up with you, and I found that so crazy. It's a small world.
That's roots, man. Yeah, it was back at football. We played football in high school, and it's one of those things. I think football and business, you learn a lot. If you play a team sport and you're in business, you take a lot of those experiences and relying on others, but also doing your job, right? Like building the dam, being the beaver that builds the dam and the goose that cheers on his friend.
Yeah.
Doing both things, right? And so those experiences, like what Chino and I had, and like what I have in life, today, it's all very similar. It's like playing football again. You get around at the office with my team. It's like, let's go, let's get ready for the game. Let's huddle, let's break.
It is so closely related because I was going to say it too. I wish I had known the value of practice back then. Yeah. Because I love playing in the game. Yeah. Love playing the sport. But at that time, just young mindset, didn't want to practice. And it also relates to business in the sense that you got to get your hours in and you got to learn. Otherwise, it's not going to matter. Yeah. You're just going to fail. You're going to fail more than often if you do not get the experience.
If you do not practice.
If you do not practice.
And it's almost a double-edged sword. You kind of just have to fail to practice. It's sort of it's almost like you just got to keep going to fail, man. Keep going to fail. It's like, that's like your practice, as a business owner, that's your practice is truly, it's like, how can I fail today?
Yeah, exactly. How can I fail, but also learn at the same time? Yeah. Which is what is the great part about being an entrepreneur.
Yeah, it is.
So I want to take this back, though, because we had the childhood Chino. What was your childhood like growing up?
Interesting. No one's ever asked me that question.
Yeah,
it's a good question. So I grew up, I had a really good childhood. I grew up with my mother. My parents were never together. Always friends. Nothing was ever weird to me. I always, I'd have 2 Christmases. I'd love to see my dad, love to see my mom, and they were always cool. And that environment was awesome. I never had sadness. I had a lot of joy as a child, and I would say a lot of motivation and what I can become and encouragement. I think I had a lot of encouragement. Yeah, I think I had a lot of encouragement when I was younger, and that bled over into my teenage years, high school years, and as you get older, it's compounding, right? So things compound, education compounds, experiences compound. Yep. And I think the practice of being a business person and talking and doing those things, it compounds as you practice more, right? So
the compound effect.
Yes.
Darren Hardy, it's a book.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I think my childhood was a series of compounding effects that it was good, positive, and very motivating. So yeah, thank you for asking that question.
Yeah, no. And you had brothers and sisters too?
Yes, I do. I have 4 brothers and 3 sisters.
Yeah. Now that I didn't know. Yeah. That's a big I did not know that. So that's some competition within the family.
Some competition.
Some competition. I got one sister, and obviously we would compete, but I would always think I would win.
Older or younger?
Younger.
Okay.
So she would always have the last word, but I would win. But I did not. That's like old time.
I'm the youngest by 15 years.
Really?
Yeah. So
15 too? Wow.
Yeah. It feels like I'm only child, but you're not.
Yeah. I mean, you said it was a compounding effect, and I've met your dad, and like I said, Cal, I'd love to have him on at some point.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I would imagine you feel that was a big part in your desire to start a business, own a business, and understand business because of what he's done, and showed you along the way.
It's funny. I to that point, growing up, being in his office, and he was a business broker, so he dealt with what the way America runs is buying and selling businesses. Truly, not necessarily starting, but also selling them and doing the acquisition.
Which I learned from this man, because I had no idea. I really didn't have any idea of what it was about and the way it worked until you explained it.
Right?
So
it's something that is just not really taught about or talked about even at all. And growing up, I thought that was just like your job, kind of in like a silly way. Like that was this is what work looks like, what he's doing now. And so that always seemed like, what do? You just run a business, you do this thing, or you sell a business, or you buy one. And, going to college and learning about career paths and opportunities and seeing the output that I was looking at for a job for what I had put in work-wise, school-wise, I could have just valeted, and probably been better off. And so, I think a combination of my father and also the reality of that is like, hey, I think we're going to try something here. So, yeah.
So going into that, I mean, the origin story, and we're going to dive in. All right. It didn't start with Range.
No, it didn't start with Range. No. My entrepreneurship career actually started with e-cigarettes. That was my first thing. The e-cigarette business, I started that at 21 years old in Pittsburgh, where I went to college. I had an e-cigarette store. It was fun. I think it was the second one in the entire region. Wow. Which was cool. It was a new concept.
Because it was, back when they were like big cartridges.
Going
out the large amount of smoke.
And what I didn't realize, though, is like, from Buffalo, I was just going to college in Pittsburgh, and in Buffalo, there was vapes everywhere, man. Like, everywhere, right? Like, they were popping up here, like, 2 years earlier than any other state because of New York State's tobacco prices. So when I got to PA, I'm like, hey, you guys got a vape shop? I'm asking other, like, smoke shops. They're like, what are you talking about, dude? Like, what the fuck are you? I'm like, okay, so this isn't here yet, and it's because of the tobacco prices. So I was able to kind of see that opportunity and push it. That was the start of it, man. That was the start of it. It was my greatest failure, I will tell you that.
I was going to say, you got to get into what you learned from that and how it went. Because, I mean, not everybody, when I was in college, I wasn't thinking about starting a business. I mean, we always said, I had the entrepreneur mindset of being like, I made music. So like, I want to be, I was a DJ. So it's a little bit, it's same, but different. But how did that go? Owning a shop at what, 20?
21. It went good enough, and good enough that I was out of business in about 8 months, but by choice, I realized that I had to finish school. A combination of choice and a forced hand, right? And I couldn't do another job to raise more money to pay for the mistakes that I'm creating every day in my business, and when you're young like that and you're running a couple $1,000s a day in cash at a retail store, you think you could do anything, and that was the greatest learning experience in my life. Even though it took me away from school, learning what it is to do all of that at a young age was huge, and that developed into e-commerce, et cetera, and I just had fun with it, man. I don't think I could do anything else. After starting a business, it's hard. It's
hard to go back. Like I tell my partners every day, like there's no way. I don't think I could. There's no way I could go back to working for somebody else. There's no way. No. I mean, you can put it however you want to put it, but there's like, once you get a taste of it, and it's not always a fun taste, right? But it's a freedom taste, right? So like you just can't go back.
That's a good way to put it. It's a freedom taste.
It's a freedom taste. Once you get it, like you're on your own time, and I mean, you're on your own dime too. If you don't make sales, you don't go out there and get it, then you're also not going to survive. Yep. So it is a point to be. You have to go out there and get it. So you had the e-cigarette business. Yep. And you had employees too?
Yeah, I had friends that followed me and helped me, and I paid them when I could. It was like a true startup, man. Like doing everything I could, and like a couple employees here and there.
Okay, because I mean that's also a tough dynamic. I mean, I worked at West Point Military Academy when I was 19, and I was in charge of the mess hall, and they had the mess hall there, and they had floor managers. Wow! So they would have people come in and eat. Not people, they had cadets come in and eat. Yeah. And everything is the reason why I'm like about my time now, because everything had to be on time. Yeah. And you had to write it down. And I was having to tell cadets when to get up and eat, like when to actually like leave, and also to tell the employees like your food had to be out in a certain amount of time, and like picked up and brought back in a certain amount of time. Wow. And these people were like, I remember this, like, it was probably like a 50-year-old Haitian woman one time, just got so irate with me for telling her what to do. And I'm like, listen, I'm just doing my job. Like, I know I'm younger than you. I have less experience for that. This is what they told me to do. Wow. And we have to do it. So like learning that was a big experience on how to talk to people. Because like, I didn't know how exactly to talk to people for them to listen to me, even though I was younger, but I was in a higher position technically than them.
I like that. I like that point a lot. And I'll open up Pandora's box a little bit on that point. Mm-hmm. Some I never really mentioned. This is an experience, a learning experience with employees at a young age. And I really didn't get that full gamut until I was older and had a lot more and was able to lead, manage, and account, right? Mm-hmm. I had an employee, great dude, did good work for me, paid him well, what we agreed on, loved the guy, trusted him more than anyone. And he was the guy I started with. We did real well. Another gentleman came in, mm-hmm. second employee. Okay, now we're getting dangerous. Yeah. Second employee comes in, and opposite, but the best seller I had.
Really?
This guy could sell 4 times as much at the store than the other guy could. Other guy I trusted, but my sales were down. This guy, I don't know how much I trust him, but he kills it.
But he could sell.
And my learning experience there was really understanding that when you're working as a business or as an individual, you're working for a purpose. And if everyone's working for that same purpose, then the outcome's going to be great. Mm-hmm. It's going to be better than great, man. It's going to be awesome. But if the purpose isn't the same, if it's not the right person, right seat, truly, you're going to find issues. I ended up having the guy who I trusted walk out on me during our grand opening.
Wow.
And our biggest day in sales. And I had a concert outside, so I was taking care of that. And the other guy was busy, and the store ended up getting cleaned out.
Really?
Robbed.
Cleaned out as in like sales. Robbed.
No, cleaned out. Later that night, he wasn't there. He wasn't the person to make sure everything was the way it was. Door wasn't locked. Things like that. And so, learning experience.
That's definitely
right?
a learning experience.
The littlest thing. I never thought anything was wrong. It was just, I didn't take enough care, enough time. I didn't have the right people. I rushed it. And that showed that I don't care. I'm just doing it for money. It showed that, whether or not it means that. That's what it showed. He's like, he doesn't care about me. He's just here for his own thing. And that's what people started thinking of each other versus we're here to work together.
Mm-hmm.
So,
which goes into, I know we're both, who spoke with us earlier, reading, and you take the classes for the traction by Gino Wickman.
Gino Wickman,
and one of the biggest things is figuring out your company's and your business's core values. Mm-hmm. And I feel like both at Learning Experience, if we had had that back then, you would have already known that this person, we would have been on the same page.
We've been on the same page.
Everyone would be on the same page.
Truthfully, man, we're talking. That's the reality of it, and you know that in depth. And it's like if I knew what I knew now 4 years ago, mm-hmm. I could reasonably assess I'd be 10 times further than I am now today. But that's life and learning and growing, and everything's at a different time for everyone. That's just part of the experience, man.
And timing is everything in the sense that you got to trust. We say, trust God's plan. You got to understand that the timing is on purpose.
Yep.
And that is the truth when it comes down to everything. Timing is on purpose. If you weren't supposed to have it then, and you have it now, then you weren't supposed to have it then.
You weren't supposed to have it then.
So
I like that. It's well said, man.
Getting back into the e-cigarette business, and then what came after that?
What came after that was a series of, like that first one was let me put a project together and do the best I can as an entrepreneur. Realized that shit didn't work. So I went back. I started selling hoverboards online. I was selling chains online. I was selling stickers. I was selling leather mouse pads. That was the funniest one. I sold everything anything that was a business, anything that was trending, I was getting into.
Is that drop shipping or was it? Or just you were actually buying inventory? It was a combination
of both. Drop shipping, leather mouse pads. I was buying inventory of hoverboards until the government told me I couldn't. But we killed that. Hoverboard business, still to this day. Range is great. Love you, Range. But hoverboard business, man, if that ever comes back around. Now you got them at Walmart, but before that, I was the guy. You wanted one,
You got to come to me for a hoverboard.
Yeah.
Was that because of danger? People getting hurt?
I see mine. I actually had my own design. I have my own.
Oh, okay.
It's called. It's still on Instagram. Elevate Hoverboards. Okay. It's a custom wide board. I designed it. Pretty sure they still have my blueprints in Shenzhen. So it's one of the best boards you'll get, man. It's a wide base board. It had the highest speed, safest battery. I did it right.
Yeah.
I did it right, and never brought to market because just globally they shut down the battery issue, which again wasn't my issue. It was It was just you couldn't import.
Yeah.
So that shut down a really fun thing early, but right? Why didn't I go manufacturing all that? And I just that was you're relying on other things.
Yeah.
Learned a lesson there.
Other people. and honestly, I mean, other companies, but other people. Did you end up spending a bunch of money in inventory to get that, or it was just prototype that was already ready to be launched and just never got made?
Yeah, the prototype did get made. It wasn't made in massive amounts. But prior to that, I was selling.
Which is smart, probably.
Yeah, I was selling the regular ones that you'd get for $800, whatever, and making a really good margin on that. And then I was like, I'm gonna bring a $2,000 board to the market, and it just like.
Well,
maybe we'll have to make it now.
Yeah, maybe at some point. Maybe at some point. So we had e-commerce.
Yeah.
And then you told me a little bit how you acquired this, but like, was it e-commerce and then you found out about Range?
Yeah, what it was actually, I worked with GLD Shop back when their roots back at Duquesne and in Pittsburgh. My buddy Christian's CEO there, a good friend of mine.
GLD Shop the jewelry company?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Wow,
So
I've seen them on Instagram.
Yeah,
and on Amazon. That's crazy.
Yeah. So the owner there lived on my dorm floor at Duquesne. We were good buddies, and worked with him. Learned a lot from him around e-commerce, the platforms, inventory, and really products and branding. That was a big part. Was branding. The biggest thing I learned in that, and I believe that they were the largest jewelry company in 2018, men's jewelry company in 2018 in the world. So that was a lot of learning from 2015 to 2018. And I was there up until 2017, and that experience with branding was so important for Range, and it was so important for the people around me. I really understood the value of holding on to something that has it. You know, if you got something with value, hold on to it.
Yeah.
And it's not for everybody. You know, it's for the certain client that you have, and that was important. And you talk about core focus, right?
Yeah.
Got to have it for that right person. So e-commerce really led me to opening up new things. Started another e-commerce company, which ultimately led me to Range.
Okay.
Yeah, just through content branding, content capture. I met someone that was the founder of Range, and from there, the rest is pretty much history, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna go through the history.
Okay. Yo, okay. You want me to tell my secrets now?
Yeah, well, we got some secret sauce.
I'll tell my secret.
I know a little bit about it, so I know that. I know.
You know what? The world deserves to know, anyways.
Exactly.
They really do. There's nothing to hide there.
And the process of how it went down, because for like I said, I didn't know. I honestly had no idea someone could buy a business and get a loan like a mortgage that would then be paid back through the cash flow of the business. That was new.
Yeah.
Still blew my mind at the age of, I think I was, it might have been 28 at the time, but 29. I didn't know that. And then, so you could speak a little bit about that. And then it also took a long time to close on Range.
Right. So, it did. Yeah, so I'll talk. You get the history. We'll get the details.
Yeah, the origin story is important.
So we'll get right to it.
You ready?
Oh, shit.
You ready?
There you go.
All right. So we were getting into it. It's time for the origin story. So we're getting back to it, how Range was acquired, and we want to hear the full process.
All right. So Gene Theory was the e-commerce company I started just prior to Range. I
remember that.
Yeah. Oh, wait a minute.
I was asked to DJ at a Gene Theory party.
Whoa.
By T. Shaw and what's his name? It wasn't Exposure. It works at Bottoms Up.
Tommy Trillfigure?
Yeah,
Tommy Trillfigure.
Yes.
Tommy Trillfigure. Yes.
Sent music to him back in the day. That's crazy.
Yeah.
I remember Gene Theory. Okay.
So Gene Theory, that was the content party, the release party.
Okay.
So that was through a massive content release party for this company. I had no product at all. This is hilarious. I had no products at all. I was convinced, and I still am to this day, truthfully, it is about the brand and the people.
Oh, absolutely.
That's it. Nothing else matters. My idea was to launch this business, not have a single product ever, and I'm just going to build a brand. And I did it, and I did it well, and it worked. The whole point was to throw the party, and we'll get people, right? If you build it, they will come.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget that party, that content party, which was going to be a multi-year business, everything. One of the elements we needed was an exotic car. It was part of like the branding I was going for. And our guy, Tyler Shaw, reached out and people showed up. And one gentleman showed up in an awesome Maserati and that I could never afford. And I met him. His name was Devin Sprague.
Okay.
And
shout out to Devin.
And Devin was the founder of Range.
Wow.
And at the time, I had moved back from Pittsburgh, I was going to start businesses and broker and kind of do what my father had done in the past. And he did it, maybe I can do it and be good at it too. And so when I met Devin, I told him that. And he's like, wow, I want to sell my business. This is perfect. I'm like, you know, it's one of those things I will never forget. This is so weird. When we met, we shook hands, and you feel like that lightning, that was there. It was like every hair in my arm stood up. Like that was a real moment that I'll never forget.
Feeling.
Yeah, before we even said a word. I'll never forget that moment. Like it was meant to be. You know, that was like really like, oh, here's your life now. This is what you're supposed to do. And that's really, truly how it was introduced to me.
That's crazy.
And from there, I went and sold Range actually to my business partners. And remember, I was a business broker. So I had the ability to sell the business, and I did sell the business. And my commissions in selling the business were actually enough to buy in as a CEO, which ultimately really made the most sense for the acquisition, right? You know, so I saw the opportunity. At first, I did not think I could ever do this deal. It's not something I'd want to do or have the resources for. But as I looked at the structure of it and the fact that when the deal closes, I'll be able to actually put in enough money to buy the whole thing. Yeah. Do you guys want to partner? I asked the buyers, and sure enough, here I am today. So
that's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, you can speak to, because I know there were some hiccups along the way.
Oh yeah.
Of getting that of finalizing and closing.
Yeah.
So
when you do certain things, and this was one of them. Range was definitely one of the ones. I think the only thing in my life, if I really think back at it, that I truly would not give up on. Like seriously, would not give up. Like I had to do this.
Was that because of just connection you had with Devin? Was it you saw the cash flow, the potential of the business? Like
I saw the potential of the business.
Okay.
I saw an awesome Range Marketing. What a sweet name. What an awesome company with not really a brand to it. There's nothing to it. There's no sales. There's no brand built here yet. So that's all open field. And what do I love the most? We just talked about branding.
Yeah.
So I was able to put those things I was chasing by starting Gene Theory into a machine that already had legs running. And that was perfect. Yeah. So yeah.
And you believed, obviously the compounding effect we spoke about. You believed in yourself enough to know. I mean, you were about to be not pushed in. You were getting into a CEO role.
Yeah.
That's not just something of a tech. It's like tech, but it's digital technology.
Yeah.
You know, of that type of role. I guess how'd you prepare your mind for that? You really had to dive in and learn enough about the business to be able to run that.
Well, I think to answer the core question of what you were talking about before, the struggles along the way were about the 80 banks I had to pitch to get the loan for the business, and in 18 months. So I had to have people that are willing to sell me their business for 18 months, motivated to sell it to me still. Yeah. Me, myself, motivated to buy it. And you know, that can imagine that, a year and a half?
A year and a half. That's what I was getting at. That's a long time.
Long time.
Yeah, man.
And many times it almost fell apart. Probably 10, 20 times. And I just wanted to give it my everything. And, you know, finally I got it done.
Yeah.
There's a lot of flights and a lot of bank pitches and zero money. A lot of debt. And it was worth it. You know, that extra effort when you think it is never going to happen, it's impossible. Like that little extra thing is what actually changes the needle.
Get you past the finish line.
Yep.
And then, I mean, you came in, how many employees did you have? How many came with the business?
8.
8? Are they still?
Yep.
They're still?
Yep, they're still. And it's, we're at 34 today. So
wow.
We had some good growth.
34, that's good growth.
Yeah.
That's good
Great
growth.
team. Great team of people when we acquired the company, and I learned a lot from them. Prior to meeting them, though, in those 80 pitches, I had mastered the business. You got to know everything.
You would have to.
Yep. So really, how do I prepare my mind for it? Just by studying the business, knowing all the things that would fail it. Because the underwriters that are going to write you a loan for business, they want to know where they're going to lose their money. How are you going to lose? And they're going to ask all those questions. So you got to have an answer.
Yeah.
And sure, when we started that thing, I was so far. It may have taken me 18 months to mature enough to be the CEO of Range. That's very possible
too. That's timing too.
Yep.
That's wild as well. That's also timing.
Yeah.
Now, I guess, COVID did a lot of like separating businesses in the sense of with their employees and having to work from home and being remote. I mean, this type of business itself, how many do you have to have here and how many can work remote? You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
You know, I think in a business like this, and any business that has a sales team, prior to our acquisition, Range was independent of sales. It was just a manufacturer, if you will, of digital goods and services. And so at that time, everyone could be remote. Today, with our sales team, it's growing. we got to be in person. You know, our headquarters here. We have meetings here, management's here. So it's a hybrid. You know.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the majority of the sales and management is in this office, and then obviously the people who work in it would be coding, and,
tech.
and tech. They're able to be remote. Okay.
And we got, if they want to come in and hang out, we can always do that too.
Yeah, nice place to hang out. Show some of that B-roll later. Nice place to hang out. We got nice glass on the waterfront. It's not terrible.
Nah.
Now, we spoke about before too, so I think one thing that propels business, and I know for myself as I'm figuring it out, we're figuring it out, my team and I are figuring out now, which industries you're going to excel in and how to get there. And that's a big thing of figuring out how you get there.
Yeah.
How did you guys figure out which industries that you can excel in and then propel yourselves to continue selling to them?
That's a great question. For us, especially an SEO company, it's really about the product that's in development and like the success of that product. Like we could do this for like anybody, okay? We could do this for anyone.
Yeah, because everyone needs ranking.
Sure, but would we be good at it?
Yeah.
Would we be able to write content for 100 different industries consistently over and over again, month over month? Definitely not. We're going to miss a lot there, and we're not going to give good results. And then what are we? We're just an SEO company. We're not range marketing. And what makes us really unique and good is that like we don't just take on every client. We're very focused. We're very niche.
You know who you can help.
We know who we can help. We know who's going to benefit the most from us. And so that really is what determined, the client success and the business resources. Those two things directly determine where the market's going. And this is who we're going after. Here's our resources. Here's the best client experience, and we're going to sell this 1 million times over and over. 100 million, I'm sorry.
Yeah, 100 million.
What did I think? Yeah.
You got to 10x it.
Right.
I started that book this morning with Grant Cardone, 10x. The 10x rule. I love it already. Huh?
Want to pass it this way when you're done?
Yeah, Audible.
Oh, okay.
Audible. Just one credit, Maybe make it easy. One credit.
Oh.
I got my credits a month. So I guess how? Because we know as this climate changes and things it's becoming legal in more states. How'd you guys end up in cannabis?
Yeah. Cannabis actually, as if there was, when you work super hard, they say you get lucky, right? When we acquired Range Marketing, we had hundreds of heating and cooling service contractors. A great client for our
HVAC?
HVAC. Great client for our resources. We also happen to have a dispensary in San Francisco.
It's random.
Didn't know anything about I didn't really think a lot about it. It's like, okay, so what is this? What could this possibly be? And we found out that the algorithm works exactly the same way as it does for a tech-laggard industry like heating and cooling as it does for cannabis. So we took our technology, our value machines, our 7 value machines in HVAC, we applied that to cannabis. So I already got one client. It works pretty much the same way. A couple things we got to do differently. Once we found out that the value was there, that was it. And that's our two predominant our focus is cannabis and HVAC still today. Yeah,
still today. That's what I was getting at, because that's just wild that you figured out those systems can work for either one of those, even though they're completely different industries. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Like imagine as a marketing company, you find out that there's a cannabis industry, the pot industry, and then like the super tech laggard home services industry.
Yeah.
And the way to market to them is the same.
Same way. You wouldn't. You wouldn't imagine that. I didn't imagine that.
Yeah, I would have never believed that, man.
But it's working.
Right?
But it's working.
So I guess, it's, you work hard, you get lucky, and we had one cannabis client, and boom, that shaped our market. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. I love that. I go through everyone we interview with the origin story, because I want to know how it came about. Because usually with entrepreneurs, anyone successful, it didn't start, you didn't just happen upon it.
Right.
There's a story behind it.
There's a story behind it.
So everyone's got it. I love to share those stories, because it might motivate someone else out there.
Yeah, I love that.
That is in a trench right now, is thinking like, this ain't working, but you trust the timing.
If I could say anything to anyone that's in a trench right now, I will say that you're not alone. There's probably a lot of people that are in a trench right now that have the same entrepreneurial spirit as you, and that spirit can't be broken. So don't let it be.
Amen. We're gonna do something fun right now, and this is a classic of all the interviews too. It's called the Rolling Stone round. So I'm gonna reel off some like this or that type questions, and whatever the first thing, your first answer is the one that you're gonna answer with. All right?
Okay.
So Leo or Brad Pitt?
Brad Pitt.
You know, I had a feeling you were going to say that. I'm going to throw one that's not in here because we asked it last time. I want to know. Denzel or Will Smith?
Willie.
God, what goes on?
You should have said Will first, then Denzel.
Oh, Denzel.
Because Denzel would have, second time would have been a curveball.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Oh, man. Denzel's dope. Scottsdale or Miami?
Miami.
Miami? Mm-hmm. All right. Yacht or private jet?
Yacht.
Okay. Mm-hmm. I was expecting private jet.
You can always rent a better one. Just saying. Woo. There's a lot of private jets. You spend $50 million on one, you can always just rent a better one for $10,000.
Wow.
Just saying.
That's a business mindset right there. That's a business mindset right there. I tell you. Mexican or Chinese food?
Chinese food.
Really? Okay. Mm-hmm. Last song you played on repeat?
Jig Is Up by Kendrick Lamar.
Wow. I do know that song.
Never forget your roots.
I did. For real. I do know that song. Hurricane or earthquake?
Hurricane.
Hurricane?
Yeah.
I say hurricane too.
I can see it.
We had, I asked the question, my buddy Zach, last interview, I think it was hurricane or blizzard.
Blizzard, because I'm used to it.
Blizzard too.
Yeah, I'm used to it. Yeah.
Because I've been to a couple of hurricanes.
Yeah.
So I still pick hurricane. Iron Man or Thor?
Iron Man.
There you go.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, Thor can't die though.
Yeah. You know.
And that lightning.
Technology.
Yeah, I know.
You know, I'd be the tech.
I also pick Iron Man.
Yeah.
Garyvee or Greg Cardone?
Garyvee.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think he's real, right down to earth with it.
Yeah, it depends. It depends on what type of person you're listening to. Because I think I love Garyvee, but he annoys me with his content.
I think
it's just out there so much.
Is it like too explicit?
It's too much for me.
It's too much?
It's too much.
I think, yeah, like either of them in doses though, I'll say that.
Yeah,
If I
that's
had to
true.
pick
That's
one,
true. Because
if I had to
Grant
pick
has
one.
the used car salesman type of, like, I don't know, aura to him.
Yeah.
But from real estate wise, I get what he's done and where he's coming from.
Sure.
You know,
sure.
and that marketing company Garyvee, he's also built Vander Media is up there.
I think I appreciate the way he built that marketing platform. It's funny.
He does it. He does it well. Teleportation or time travel?
Time travel.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. Mm-hmm. Many people want to teleport, but I also think I would pick time travel because you can do something over again.
I mean,
10x would be
over and over again.
Over and over again.
Yeah. You can win that money 100 times.
Exactly.
You know?
What's worse, laundry or dishes?
Laundry.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, laundry takes more time. Time is money. Laundry takes more time.
Yeah.
Yeezys or Jordans?
Yeezys.
Really?
I got both. I mean,
we all got both.
I got both. I guess, my most recent purchases have been Yeezys.
Yeezys?
Yeah.
Because they're more comfortable? Because, I mean, they ain't got that many. Yeezys doesn't have that many styles. They're more expensive
Somehow,
than Jordans.
they're good at retarget marketing to me, I think. Mm-hmm. They're just better at reaching me as a customer. Okay. I'm sure if I saw more Jordans on everything, I would buy Jordans. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
An all-glass apartment in a high-rise or in a coral reef?
All-glass apartment in a high-rise.
In a high-rise?
Yeah. Yeah.
I think I'd rather be on the water. I don't know, though. I love cities.
I love them both. I've always envisioned myself being high-rise.
In high-rise?
Yeah.
So have I.
Yeah.
I can agree with that.
Yeah.
Just being able to see the skyline, just like looking out over and waking up in the morning. Yeah, it's just forever. Superbad or The Hangover?
Let's go The Hangover.
The Hangover? Okay,
Yeah.
okay. I was like, I watched both recently, and I think I'm going to try to get more questions like that, because that's a tough one, yo.
I want to see the stats on that answer.
The Superbad and The Hangover. I mean, you can't go wrong with either of them.
Yeah.
You know? Mm-hmm. Yeah. What do you think, Kevin?
Hangover.
Hangover?
Yeah, Hangover. I mean, just
adult fun, man.
Yeah.
You have a good time, man.
I mean, you got Mike Tyson, the Asian dude. I forget his name.
That's not long ago either, actually.
I love The Hangover. I love both movies.
Chow.
Yeah, Chow. Yep.
That's a good one too.
So this is a question that I ask everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's gonna have a different answer. But as an entrepreneur, business person, do you believe that it is like in your DNA? Is it built in certain people, or can anyone do it if they put their mind to it and learn?
I think the second one's definitely true. Anyone can do it. Anyone can be an entrepreneur to a level, to an extent. Mm-hmm. To an extent.
To an extent.
Yeah, I think the entrepreneurial spirit is real. There's like the
willpower. You got to be overcome.
There's definitely certain people I've met in this life that are like, that personality is 100% an entrepreneur, and that's the spirit, Mm-hmm. It doesn't mean that not everyone can be an entrepreneur, And I think even entrepreneurs don't become entrepreneurs sometimes.
Yeah.
I think that they may not find that spirit in the source of it, and they may want to, and they may find it later in life. And some people may be entrepreneurs that weren't born to be one right away and do pretty damn well, you know?
Yeah.
So it's interesting. The entrepreneurial spirit's strong.
Yeah.
You know?
And I like asking that question because it's a debate. Like I said last time in the other interview, it's a debate me and my business partner Al have, because it's just like, he firmly believes that it's built in some people, and not everyone.
I agree.
My mom has done well with this in my mind. Like, if you believe something, like, you can do whatever you believe. I think
you're both right, really. And
there might not be a correct answer.
I think you're both right. I really do. You know, and think about some of the most successful people in the world are engineers. Elon Musk is really an engineer at the core of it. You know, he gets this simple business concept of filing taxes, all that. You know, a lot more. Sure. But he's truly at the core.
But he's an engineer.
He's an engineer, though, right? Like
he's a genius when it comes to that.
Yeah.
There's a reason why
different
Tesla,
types of entrepreneurs, you know.
Yeah, exactly. And that's we took a test one time. It's called the Bossy, and it has 4 different types of entrepreneur attributes, you would say.
Really?
And there's builder, optimist, innovator, and specialist. And I came out with, you can be partial of a bunch of them. I came out with optimist, which is true. Which is true. I think it was builder and innovator. So not the specialist, which it depends on what we're talking about, because I could disagree with that. If we're talking about some music production, I could be a specialist. But honestly, thinking about you in the terms of it, I definitely think builder would be a big one for you. And then optimist.
Optimist for sure.
Yeah.
I think my GM just said in the sales meeting the other day, he's like, you're so optimistic, man. You know, that's just, I've always been that way. You got to put glasses half full.
You have to, though.
Yeah.
And I mean, we're both optimists, so we agree. But I mean, other people would be innovators and specialists, you know.
Sure.
But that's the 4 types.
What's that called again?
The Bossy assessment,
the Bossy
BOSI assessment. Cool. And he had it, Al had me and our other business partner, Mike, take it just to see what type we'd come up with. He was more of the builder.
Wow.
I'm optimist. And then Mike was a specialist.
Is it recommended you have all types?
So they say, like, you know, if you have the one you're lacking is the one you would have to find, would be the one you're looking for. That's so really it would be innovator. And so, I mean, we're doing fine right now, but we'll figure out later on down the line if we need an innovator.
Oh, that's really interesting. And with the EOS I just went through, I think the greatest business concept for management, people, all those things is like, okay, let's, and so I was taught is take range to 100 million. What does it look like? So I had to write that out and talk it out and get agreements with everyone. This is what $100 million looks like. Does that make sense? And when you talk about that, you're looking at 11 positions you don't have right now.
Yeah.
So you write them down. These are 11 spots that we would have if we were a $100 million company with 150 employees. So then what do? Now you start filling those jobs.
Yep.
Start creating it. That for me was a huge, because like management, that's a huge part of business that like is a constant practice and like something you learn.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
That's huge, actually. I mean, that's the forward thinking, going back to the Grant 10X rule.
Right.
You have to start thinking and doing things as if you're going to be doing them 10 times as big as you are now.
I like that.
And that's exactly what you just said. If you were going to like name some people who have influenced you, you look up to, and this is business, personal, whatever, like just, you know, I guess you say role models, but at the same time, just influences that have helped you shape your, I guess, personality. You know?
Yeah, I think good people at tough times. You know, I got a couple buddies. You know, my boys Nick, Chuck, Joey from college. Those guys stayed with me as friends for life. My high school friends that made me. You know, I know what kind of man I want to be because of the people that I was around at that age. And I went to an all-girls high school.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Because I mean, high school, there was a lot of. Where's this, you know what I'm saying? Some tool bags.
Yeah.
Like, you don't usually see people that you want to be around in high school, but if you had those type of influences, that's wonderful.
We all have the same goals.
Yeah.
You know, we all want to play sports and do well. You know, so that's who I hung out with. They were my friends, and because of that, we all kind of try to do the same thing. So I think all that helped shape, you know, of course, my mother and my father, you know, and everyone along the way there. But you know, ultimately, you know, got to thank God, and you got to thank yourself for working your ass off. It's like all of us do every fucking day, man. That's what it's about. Yeah. You know, so.
And waking up to do it again.
That's right.
And knowing you got it.
And sometimes going to sleep alone at 4 a.m. has got to be in the journal too.
Yeah.
You know.
Nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that. So you're waking up at 6.
Yeah. Yeah. And I know you've done it plenty of times. Yeah. I have too. I know you know that's the point of being built different. Yeah. You know. So a lot of successful entrepreneurs and business, actually anyone, I don't want to just say entrepreneurs, but people have certain aspects of their daily routines, weekly routines that they have learned to have helped them, I guess, stay focused and keep on track to what their goal is. What are some of those things for you that you do either daily, you never stray away from it, weekly? Just what are some of those things?
For me, man, it's one of those, like, the less that I feel structured, the better off I am. Like, there's not a specific thing for me. There's not, like, a specific alibi. I think it's more of just, like, the vibe of the day. I can't say one thing, but I make my bed every morning.
Do you?
That will drive. I can't leave the house. That's like one thing.
Okay.
It's like one thing where
my
it's
mom
like,
wishes I was like that. But
that's the first thing. If that's done, the job, I won that war. Who's next? Like, that's the mindset with it. So that may be the only thing. Yeah.
I mean, nothing else besides the daily routine? I mean, you probably have some things everything just flow.
Well, if I gotta fall asleep, maybe I'll smoke a little weed on the side or something. Just to
like I said, it helps with the cannabis companies being some of the best clients. I'm sure that doesn't.
Well, you gotta know the products, man.
Hurt the situation. True. But that comes with testing,
right?
Just like any algorithm, you gotta test it,
and that's work. That's work. That's time.
Mm-hmm. A little fun.
See where we're going.
Working hard working. It ain't that bad. It ain't that bad. What are some of the your top 5 books that have influenced you the most and changed your mindset and shifted it in a way that you would have not have thought about without having those books?
Powers of Two. I can't remember the author. It's a book called Powers of Two.
Never heard of that.
Power by Michael Korda, who I think is the most important book I've ever read.
Okay.
I'm currently reading $100 Million Deal by Hermosi. It's a great book. It's about it's a sales-based book.
I haven't heard of any of these.
Yeah, they're great books. Definitely I'll share them with you.
Okay.
And EOS, which I believe that you just capped off.
Traction.
I've got 2 books going right now. I can tell you though that Power by Michael Korda was the single book that I read in business that I needed to do business, truthfully.
Really?
And to do business and be able at a young age, the hardest thing is always older people never respected me, to be honest. The older generation actually would help me out. But it seemed like that between my parents' age and my age, like that middle age when I was young in business, they did not want to deal with me. They didn't like the kid with the new thing coming around the block,
Yeah.
The little brother type mentality. They did not like that. And those are all part of it, man.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think if I was going to say something, I'm reading Traction right now. But the ones that have probably changed me was Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Because as a real estate person.
I've been told to read that book.
You never read Rich Dad, Poor Dad?
I never read that book.
Oh, wow. I mean, you honestly know the principles. It's just having more assets than liabilities. But as a young person who didn't really realize,
the concept.
The concept of making your money make money for you, then and putting it in the real estate, it just changed my whole perspective. No Excuses. That's a good book. I'm forgetting by who that's by. I should do that. The Road Less Stupid was also a great book.
Never heard of
The Road Less Stupid.
Yeah.
The 12-week year changed my whole perspective. That you can get done what you want to get done in 12 weeks instead of it making it by the year, because everyone rushes in October and November, December, trying to figure out what they can do now to hit that goal.
Okay.
When you can set that goal for January to the end of March.
I like that.
And then do it again.
I like that.
And again. That really helped me out.
Now, there's a book, I can't remember the name of it. I'm going to find out, and I'm going to let you know. I don't remember the book, but I remember the concept that came from it. And it's kind of what we mentioned earlier. It was if you were on a beach, on the side of the road, on a beach is real shitty, right? But you can perspect that in a way where you're just on the side of a road on a shitty beach, or you're on a glorious beach with golden sand and you're living the life. That changed. That was the book. Yes, it was a mindset thing. And that is really interesting. I think the greatest one sentence takeaway from that is walk in, and it's a quote from Kant. And it's you basically walk into any experience as if it was a law of nature. That's how confident, you're walking into a meeting, you're walking to do something, it's a law of nature what's going to happen. You truly believe that indefinitely. I've done it a couple times, man. It's amazing what happens. I think it's maybe the confidence you expose.
Let me know what that it sounds right up there with my mom. My mom is big on everything is the law of nature. Yeah. You're attracted, that's what's supposed to happen. Yeah. That's what is meant to be, and that's what it sounds like. You're walking in and you're just accepting that.
Yeah, she's right about that.
And going about it. Yeah. She be wild, and my dad be like, what is woman talking about? What is she talking about? But she gets it, and that's what it sounds like That book would be about. That is inspiring, yeah, because that's a really shift of mindset. Not everybody can do that. To just change the way you're thinking about your environment. It's really making your reality.
Right, yeah.
It's creating a different reality.
It's creating a different reality. It could be the same room, but differently perceived.
Yep, completely. You can be in heaven or hell, whichever one you put yourself in.
Lens.
You know? That's really what it is. So some things, we're both in the tech industry and marketing. So, I mean, what are some things that you are investing in right now? Where do you see, because I mean the metaverse is a thing, it's becoming a thing, it's not going away. NFTs aren't going away. Even though I have my own opinion on NFTs, whatever. What are you investing in? What do you see the outlook of the next 5 years in technology and things like that?
Yeah, I think it's just like if you look at like newspapers and like the old school markets of marketing, right? Like the ways you can market your business, and that's like commerce, right? And this is how you get your name out, this billboard. And like now it's all digital, and like now it's gonna, like the next thing you're like it's gonna be like virtual, and we're gonna be part of that whole thing, and then there's gonna be commerce in there.
Yeah.
And
exactly.
Yeah. So
we billboards in the metaverse too.
Yeah, and I think things are trending that way. I think that there's going to be a lot of in the future. We're talking the future with what we have here in the last 4 years. What's happened in this world in the last 4 years? Who knows where the business will be? Will we all be on computers in that time? Is it which version of reality is going to be part of the actual experience?
Which is scary. Having
digital signage ads pushed to your glasses as you're driving. Part of making digital a digital reality hybrid. I like to when there's like big changes, I like to like watch a little bit, and because I've made the mistake of like going in and doing crazy stuff, and like things move so fast. I like to watch. So right now I'm in the investment of watching.
So you haven't bought any NFTs yet?
I got some NFTs.
Oh, okay. So you're doing more than just watching it.
Yeah, I got some NFTs.
You're doing some more than just watching.
I got some NFTs.
Time out.
Yeah.
You gotta record that one again.
Well, good thing yours was rolling last time. Mine did that.
Yo, I can't believe Hollywood Hamilton is in here right now. Like the Hollywood Hamilton shirt is literally in.
We'll have to shout him out. We have to shout him out in the actual thing, because that is.
Yeah, we gotta give George a shout.
That's a small world.
It is.
That's a small world.
Yeah.
Crazy clothing though.
Yeah.
So we'll put him in there.
Cool dude.
What NFTs do you own then?
Mint NFT.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
It's a small group. I got connected with a colleague of mine, so I trusted it and just going through it.
Now, are you gonna make any?
Nah.
No.
I don't know.
I mean, at this point in time, if you could sell the gorilla for like $400K, then like, we need to make some. I mean, just in the mindset of it, I'm just like,
you could buy them too,
and just make. Yeah, you could buy them.
But then you should be selling them.
That's what I'm saying. If you're gonna buy them, you can sell them too. Just thinking of the ideas. We've talked about this too. Me and Kevin. Just a matter of like, what are you gonna create? Why is it special? And a lot of it, which we talked about earlier, is branding.
Yeah.
If you're already have a following, if you're already famous, then it's we say the rich get richer, but it really is. It's like if you have that following already, they're gonna buy your NFT.
Yeah.
A no-name person making an NFT is gonna be harder. And then that's why they're buying these things. And I don't know how people get the hype around them, but the hype is created by people who are already popular.
Yeah, like most things create a cult-like following about something, and it grows. Pretty much anything is like that. So
old school, odd future shit. That cult following, I remember that back in the day. Some ASAP crew, cult following.
That's funny.
So that's the future of like the tech. So we see a lot. I mean, this is we're in Buffalo. We both own companies in Buffalo. Yours is bigger than mine at the time. You know what I'm saying? And we love that. We have friends who are doing great things.
Awesome things.
Like Kevin, Kevin Dagger, who will be on in a couple weeks.
Around the world.
His company is doing. He owns the building right now.
Yep. My landlord.
Yeah. Beautiful property.
Keep the lights on.
They're doing a lot to advance Buffalo in that aspect. The canal side is nicer. I guess, where do you see the outlook of business in Buffalo? What's going to happen in Buffalo in, like, I would say the next 3 to 5?
Yeah, that's really interesting. I didn't live in Buffalo for 6 years, so I lived in Pittsburgh for a while. But living in another place, coming back here, being an adult now while I live here, I can see that, like, the generation I grew up with, they're coming back to Buffalo, investing in Buffalo. People are doing business in Buffalo and building businesses in Buffalo. I have friends doing some really cool stuff, and all of you guys were all doing cool stuff, right?
Yeah.
And so I think Buffalo everyone that lives here kind of knows what it is. It's that secret. And I think this generation that we're a part of, and the one above us and below us, I think we're going to really make this an awesome place, and the economy is going to come back to a booming era that it was in the past.
I can see that,
man.
I love to see it, because I mean, personally for me, I'm not from here, so it's like I'm like a transplant.
Where are you from here?
So I'm from the tri-state area. We won't go into it too much, but I was born in Houston, then moved to Cape Cod, then moved to the tri-state area down in Orange County, and then I was applying for colleges, and my friend was like, "Oh, try Fredonia," and I was like, "All right, word." So I applied to Fredonia and got in. He ended up being my roommate for 2 years, and he dropped out. I stayed at Fredonia, and then ended up moving here afterwards.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, I can say that I do love the tight knit part about Buffalo. That you know people, and people might know you, and it's just like it is a family. I didn't plan on becoming a Bills fan, y'all, but I mean, at the same time, like
the Bills chose you.
Yeah, they chose me. Like, you know what I'm saying? If I see the players out and the cool dudes,
don't look
see them
them
on
in the
TV
eyes.
on Sunday, I know guys, I didn't plan on becoming it, but I mean, it's like at the same time, I can't help it. So I love to see what's going to happen. And we have apartments, complexes popping up everywhere.
Yeah.
You know, so it does seem like people are actually starting to build here, and I love to see it continue. Whatever type of companies, because I feel like Buffalo to me has a lot of, like, honestly, healthcare and like bars and restaurants. But I'd love to see some more tech companies move in, some other people just forward thinking. So I'm excited to see what happens.
Yeah, it's interesting.
You know?
You go places like Denver, other cities that have so much like cool, interesting stuff to do, and I see the knack for it coming in Buffalo. You know, it's just, I think it's time for us. You know, I think this environment's ready to go.
The only drawback, in my opinion, would be the cold, but you know.
Yeah,
pretty much.
That's the only drawback.
Pretty
really.
much the tundra for 4 months out the year.
4 months out of the year.
Yeah, but I mean, it's the only drawback, because we got the spring and summer and fall are all beautiful.
You know, and you can't. You know, you go to Arizona in the summer, or go to Texas in the summer, and
I went to Arizona.
I'll see you in a couple days. Yeah. You're coming right back. Like, you know, you get out of a plane in Texas. I'm like, all right, let me go home.
Exactly. I do agree with that. I'm from Houston. Houston is hot.
Yeah.
Different type of hot.
Yeah.
We're talking humid, like. You step out and like you can be like, well, heaven or hell in your own mind, but when you step out that plane, it might be hell.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So that's one thing. But I'm glad you feel the same way, because I do see it becoming a hub of like younger people. Like Austin right now is popping with like just that younger. I would say 25 to 33, just really coming in, business mindset people.
People are connected now more than ever too, you know.
Yeah.
So like people in different places are connected, businesses everywhere. You know, I think Buffalo's always home. We got a lot of good families here, a lot of good people, you know. So we're gonna run this thing. We're gonna make it a cool place. We're gonna make it a fun place.
We're making it a cool place. It's a cool place already. We continue to do that. I mean, we spoke about the businesses. Where does Spencer see himself in business in 3 to 5 years?
I can tell you that really, really accurately.
There we go.
You know, in 3 years, Range will be worth $19 million at least. We'll have around 60 employees at least.
Okay. Still the same office, or are you going to get another one?
That's, meats and potatoes to me, doesn't matter.
True that.
You know, but I like this style, so hopefully it's better,
Ain't bad.
similar, you know? You know? And, for me, it's 3 to 5, and 5 and 10 are the same. And, 10 is a $100 million company at least, and 150 employees at least. And where I see myself is leading, managing, and being accountable for all of them. Yeah.
That's huge, actually. I mean, that's huge. That's real concise, and that's how you tell the man does his homework and writes it down and studies it.
Well, like you said, you got to have an end plan, work backwards.
You have to. You have to work backwards. If you don't know what you're working for,
right?
Then why you working?
Why you working, man?
Exactly.
Well said. Wow.
So, I mean, this has been one of those concise interviews. I tried to get to the man a little bit, I tried to get to him a little bit, but I think this was good in the sense that, like, I was like, yo, I wanted to get got a lot out of him, but I love to hear the origin story. The Rolling Stone round was great. And I mean, to say that, I like to say that BuiltDifferent is like, it's part vision, part self-discipline. And I wrote it down just so y'all know. I had to, and like part speaking things into existence. And that's one thing I appreciate about you, because that bringing it full circle. When you told me you were getting that GTR, for some reason I believed you.
That's
and
funny.
Then a year and a half later, you got the GTR and still had it.
And I remember telling you that. At first, I was like, okay, which time at 500? And you said it. I'm like, okay, I remember that moment. And I never doubted it. I didn't know how I was going to figure it out.
And that's the thing.
I really didn't
that's
know. I was
that
pretty
people need to
confident I was
remember,
going to get it, though.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Sometimes you don't know how you're going to get it, but you have to believe you're going to get it, and then just go get it.
Yep.
And that really matters in the grand scheme of mindset and going after your goals. Because if you don't believe it,
I appreciate that you saw that experience of how bad I wanted that and made it happen. And everyone can do that. You know what I mean? You have to push for it.
You got to believe.
Yeah.
You
gotta believe.
So, I mean, this has been one of my favorites. I do plan on coming back just so I tell people. This is episode 2. Spencer will be back on.
I'll be
because
back
in
on.
like 3 to 5 years when he has the $19 million company, in 10 years when it's a $100 million company, 150 people behind us, well, maybe 60 remote, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Either way.
Half and half.
Half and half. We'll be back to talk about this again.
Let's
and
go.
see the fruition.
Thanks for having me, bro.
This is no problem.
Appreciate you.
This man is built different, and I love it. We already got the hoodie. He put it on beforehand. That's all right. All right with me. Peace.
Peace out.